And you be careful, all right?
Taking a big space truck with a bunch of strangers across a diamond planet called Midnight?
What could possibly go wrong?
Doctor Who is a science fiction show that has graced television screens since its airing in 1963. Following its revival in 2005, Doctor Who, penned by Russell T Davies, has garnered a reputation as a show that tackles difficult moral and political topics. Season 4, Episode 10's Midnight highlights this through its examination of the effects of paranoia, fear and power on the human condition. Through its depiction of the characters, I will analyse how the episode subverts expectations to provide an unsettling view of humanity in the face of danger. Midnight stands apart from the other episodes in Season 4, but begins with a similar format, following the main character, the Doctor, a human-like alien as he tours on a shuttle through a dangerous and untouchable planet called Midnight. However, the episode begins to diverge as he fails to convince his companion, Donna, to accompany him on this tour,
I'd rather go sunbathing.
subverting the normative format of the show through a companion-light episode. While the Doctor is an alien, his human-like appearance and mannerisms allow him to quickly bond with the other passengers, despite being without his regular human companion. As the episode develops, however, an invisible monster, an entity, attacks the ship, first destroying the cockpit and leaving the passengers stranded, before invading through the possession of Skye, a lonely woman mourning the breakup with her girlfriend. When disaster occurs, the Doctor instinctively takes authority, giving orders while attempting to figure out the situation. Typically, the episode would resolve with the Doctor solving the problem and heroically saving the day. But instead, the Doctor slowly loses the trust and confidence of his fellow passengers because of his attempt at authority.
You in charge anyway? I'm sorry, but you're a doctor of what exactly?
And instead becomes accused of housing the entity himself. The Doctor's evident glee in the face of danger, alongside his talkative nature, contrasts sharply with the other terrified passengers, and highlights his alienness to the others.
Thank you, molto bene.
Something that, while normally would be considered a strength, instead becomes a weakness, almost threatened by his capabilities alongside the intense fear and paranoia of the situation. The other passengers quickly prey on him, and from then on, any attempt at talking his way out of his accusations would be futile.
Did you know what to do? Because I'm clever!
This is also highlighted in the Midnight Entity, which would chillingly go from copying the passengers' voices to reciting alongside, before narrowing in on the Doctor and taking his voice, leaving the Doctor powerless and at the mercy of humanity affected by intense fear.
Just listen.
Just listen. That's him. That's him.
The Midnight Entity as a character is one that is dangerously effective in utilising humanity's innate fear as a means to destroy them. Being unseen and unknown even to the Doctor makes this creature terrifying for the characters, tapping into the deep-rooted human fear of the unknown. By possessing Skye, who is the most terrified and emotional out of the passengers, the entity takes physical form, like a parasite, with no known motive other than to kill. With the entity's weapon being controlling fear, the Doctor becomes the subject of blame. However, it quickly becomes humanity in the other passengers who are at fault. By convincing themselves of the Doctor's blame, a shift in authority occurs, with some of the passengers, such as the Mother and the Professor, becoming the voices of authority through loudness rather than reason, adapting an almost witch hunt mentality. This is evident throughout the episode, with these characters having noticeable biases towards lesser important characters on the ship, such as the hostess or Dee Dee, the Professor's assistant.
That's not what happened.
Thank you for your opinion, Dee. But clearly, Mrs. Silvestri has
These
been
biases would
released.
manifest themselves through terrifying sequences of overlapping voices and quick cutting, giving the episode a heightened sense of claustrophobia. By having a limited single location set, it also lends to the character's feeling of entrapment and increasing tension. Without the aid of Donna, who would have bridged the gap between the Doctor and the passengers, as she was both human but had the experience of previous situations with the Doctor, and thus the intense sense of danger by not the creature but by the passengers is furthered again. The episode reaches its climax with the Doctor almost being thrown out of the ship, a stark reinforcement of the dangerous capabilities of humanity, where fear and paranoia overtakes morality and empathy.
Molto bene.
However, at the last minute, the hostess, who had remained an overlooked character throughout the episode, sacrifices her life and throws herself and Skye out of the ship, saving the life of the Doctor. This ending leaves the Doctor unnaturally terrified of the other passengers, and their mother saying,
I said it was her.
provides a chilling remark on a dark aspect of humanity that could never take accountability or learn from the mistakes. With the lack of knowledge of the entity even at the end of the episode, the open-ended nature commentates on the harrowing possibility of its return in the future, with perhaps more devastating consequences. Overall, Midnight is long regarded as one of the greatest episodes of modern Doctor Who, through its haunting analysis of humanity in the face of danger, and the subversion of expectations of the Doctor's lack of control and authority. This episode, while unique in its approach, being companion light, is also a strong reflection of the show, and Russell T Davies' narrative structures in examining morality in crisis, by making the viewer question, how would you have reacted in the same situation?
Molto bene.
Molto bene.
No, don't do that. Don't.